Cole wiped the sweat from his brow as he moved carefully through the broken ruins of the old colony. The sky was a dull gray, and the air smelled faintly of dust and rust. The colony had been attacked months ago, and most of the buildings were now nothing but broken walls and metal scraps. He came here looking for parts, any useful pieces he could find to fix the ship that had broken down near this moon. His boots crunched on the cracked ground as he walked. The silence was deep except for the occasional creak of a loose metal panel swinging in the cold wind. Cole was alone. His radio was dead, and the colony was far from help. Suddenly, a soft sound caught his attention. It was a small cry, not the harsh noise of a machine breaking, but a fragile, human-like cry. Cole froze and listened again. The sound came from a small pile of twisted metal where an escape pod had crashed. The pod was half buried in dust and rubble. Carefully, Cole knelt down and started clearing the dirt away. He pushed with his hands, until the hatch opened just enough for him to see inside. His heart jumped when he saw her. There was an alien woman inside, thin and pale. She was holding a tiny baby close to her chest. Both looked weak and cold. The woman's skin had a strange, soft blue-gray color, and her large eyes were filled with fear and pain. She had pointed ears, but they were small and smooth. Her clothes were torn, and she looked like she had been running for a long time. Cole's mouth went dry. He had never seen anyone like her before, but he could feel her suffering. The baby was quiet, but its little chest was moving up and down. With weak breaths, he knew he had to help. Cole opened his backpack and took out the last protein bar he had saved. He slowly reached inside the pod and held the bar out to the woman. At first, she stared at it with confusion. Then she looked at the baby and finally at Cole's face. The baby stirred and made a small noise. Cole smiled gently. He said, "Food. For you. Eat." The woman's eyes filled with tears. She hesitated but took the bar from his hand. She tried to eat but was too weak to chew. Cole tore a small piece and put it softly into the baby's mouth. The baby sucked slowly and then opened its eyes a little. The woman's body trembled. She put her head in her hands and began to cry quietly. Cole didn't know her language, but he understood her pain. He sat beside the pod, careful not to scare them. He took out a water bottle and gave it to her. The woman drank slowly. Then, she looked at Cole and nodded once. "Thank you," she said in a soft voice, but the words were strange and unknown to him. Cole nodded back. "You're safe now." The woman's name was Rayla, or at least that was what she tried to say when she wrote strange symbols on a piece of broken metal she found nearby. She told him, through gestures and drawings, that her home had been destroyed. Pirates had attacked her planet, killing many, including her husband. Cole's heart ached for her. He had seen too much death in his life, but nothing like this pain. He decided to help her and the baby. He set up a small shelter near the pod using broken panels and tarps from his ship. He made a safe place for them to rest. Days passed. Cole shared his food and water with Rayla and her child. He talked to them softly, hoping they would understand his kindness. The baby began to grow stronger. It smiled for the first time when Cole gently touched its tiny hand. Rayla watched him with tears in her eyes. She had never met a human like Cole before. She thought all humans were dangerous. But he was different. He cared without asking for anything. One night the sky was clear and the stars shone bright. Cole sat by the fire, looking at the small family he had saved. He wondered how many others were out there, lost and scared, waiting for help. Suddenly, a sound broke the quiet. A ship's engine roared in the distance. It was not a rescue ship. It was a pirate ship. Cole's heart pounded. He knew danger was coming. He quickly woke Rayla and picked up the baby. "We have to hide," he said, but she only nodded, fear clear on her face. Cole led them to a hidden cave nearby. It was dark and cold, but safe. He set up a small barrier at the entrance. The pirates were looking for survivors, for anyone who might have escaped with something valuable. Cole knew they would not stop until they found them. He looked at Rayla and the baby, who were huddled together. He promised silently to protect them. This was only the beginning of their story. The cave was cold and dark, but safe. Cole set the baby down on a soft patch of moss he found inside. Rahela held the infant close, rocking her gently. The baby's small eyes blinked slowly, tired but calm for the first time in days. Cole looked around the cave. It was quiet except for the sound of the wind outside. The pirate ship was still somewhere near the colony ruins. He knew they would be back to search. He sat next to Rayla and tried to speak gently. "We need food, water, and to fix my radio." Rayla nodded slowly but looked confused. She didn't understand his words. Cole realized he needed a better way to talk to her. He took out a small notebook from his bag and began drawing simple pictures. A circle for the sun, a stick figure for a person, a hand reaching out. He pointed at the pictures and said the words, clearly. Rayla watched him closely. She reached into her own small bag and pulled out a piece of broken metal with strange symbols etched into it. She handed it to Cole. It was like a code or writing, but different from any language he knew. Cole smiled softly. "We will figure this out." For the next few days, Cole worked on fixing his broken communication device. The ship was their only chance to call for help. Every morning he collected water from a small stream near the cave. He shared his food with Rayla and the baby, making sure to give them the best portions. The baby, whom Cole decided to call Lena because of the E. Soft sounds she made began to grow stronger. She smiled when Cole made funny faces and tried to hold his finger with her tiny hand. Rayla's eyes brightened too, but her worry never fully left. She told Cole, through gestures, about the pirates. They had attacked her home without mercy. She lost everything except Lena. One evening, as they sat near a small fire, Rayla pointed to Cole and said slowly, "Human, dangerous?" Cole shook his head quickly. "No, I help." She looked deep into his eyes. "You, different." Cole nodded. "Different." Rayla reached out and touched Cole's hand. It was a small moment but full of meaning. She was starting to trust him. Cole felt a warmth in his chest. He had helped many people before, but never someone so different from himself. He realized that kindness was a language everyone could understand, but danger was not far. One day, while Cole was fixing the radio, he noticed strange footprints outside the cave. They were large and heavy, like those of the pirates. His heart raced. He warned Rayla quietly, "Pirates coming." Rayla hugged Lena tightly and looked scared. Cole knew they needed a plan. He decided to set simple traps around the cave entrance. Using old wires and pieces of metal, he made noise traps that would warn them if someone approached. They waited in silence. Hours passed. Then, faint voices echoed outside. The pirates were searching. Cole held Rayla's hand. He whispered, "Stay quiet." The cave shook as the pirates moved closer. They shouted in their harsh language, calling out for survivors. Rayla closed her eyes and prayed silently. Cole thought of Lena and hoped they would escape. Suddenly, a loud crash was heard outside. One of the traps had been triggered. The pirates cursed loudly and began to look around. Cole knew they had little time. He pulled Rayla and Lena deeper into the cave. He found a narrow passage leading further inside. It was dark and tight, but it might hide them. They moved slowly, careful not to make a sound. Once inside, Cole used a small light to guide them. The air was damp and cold. They found a small hidden chamber. Rayla looked relieved but still worried. Cole said, "Safe here." They waited. Hours turned to a full day. The pirates never found them. Cole fixed the radio just enough to send a weak distress signal. He hoped someone would hear it soon. Rayla sat beside him and smiled faintly. She touched Lena's cheek and then Cole's. "You saved us," she said softly. Cole smiled. "We save each other." They had survived the first attack, but they knew more challenges lay ahead. The bond between the human and the alien woman grew stronger. Despite their different worlds, they were now a small family fighting to live. The days passed slowly in the dark cave. Cole, Rayla, and little Lena stayed hidden, listening carefully for any sign of the pirates. Cole's traps had slowed the attackers, but he knew it was only a matter of time before they returned. One morning, Cole heard voices near the cave entrance. They were louder this time, closer than before. His heart beat fast. The pirates were searching again. Cole stood by the entrance, watching through a crack in the rocks. A group of rough-looking men stepped into the clearing. Their clothes were torn and dirty, and their faces showed no mercy. They carried weapons that looked sharp and deadly. Rayla squeezed Lena's hand, her face pale but brave. She looked at Cole with fear, but also hope. He nodded to her, silently telling her to stay calm. Cole took a deep breath. He knew running was not an option. They needed to stand strong together. He whispered, "I protect you. Trust me." Rayla gave a small nod. She wrapped Lena tightly in her arms, ready to move if needed. Suddenly, one of the pirates spotted a broken branch near the cave entrance. He pointed and shouted to the others. They moved closer, searching carefully. Cole's mind raced. He decided to act. He quickly picked up a small rock and threw it far into the bushes. The pirates' heads turned sharply toward the noise. "That way," one shouted. The group followed the sound, moving away from the cave. Cole breathed a sigh of relief. He looked back at Rayla and Lena. They were safe for now, but the pirates were smart and would not give up easily. Cole knew they needed a better, plan. He decided to repair his comm device faster. If he could send a clear signal, rescue might come before the pirates returned. Rayla watched Cole work with quiet admiration. She saw how his hands moved quickly and skillfully, fixing wires and adjusting small parts. She wanted to help but did not know how. One evening, as they sat by a small fire, Rayla surprised Cole. She pulled out the broken metal piece with strange symbols again. "I help?" she asked. Cole smiled wide. "Yes, help." Rayla began pointing to the symbols, then to the objects around the cave. She used simple signs to explain what the words meant. Cole wrote the words next to the symbols in his notebook. Slowly, they began to build a small dictionary of words and meanings. It was a start. Through this new way of talking, Rayla told Cole more about her people. They were called the Ilari. Their planet was peaceful until the pirates attacked. The pirates wanted the Ilari's technology, which was very advanced and valuable. Rayla's husband had been a warrior who tried to protect their home. He died fighting, so she and Lena escaped on the pod. Cole felt respect and sadness at her story. He wished he could have saved more, but now he was determined to keep them safe. The next day, Cole tested the comm device again. This time a weak but clear signal was sent. "Help is coming," he told Rayla. She smiled with tears in her eyes. "Thank you, human." Days later, as they waited, the sound of engines filled the air. Not pirates this time, but a rescue ship. The Ilari peacekeepers had found the signal and come to help. Rayla's eyes shone with hope. Cole helped her and Lena out of the cave. The peacekeepers surrounded them, their uniforms shining in the sunlight. At first, the peacekeepers looked suspicious of Cole. He was a human, and humans and Ilari had a history of distrust. One officer stepped forward. "Who is this?" Rayla held up Lena and said firmly, "He saved us." The officer looked closely at Cole, then at Lena. Rayla continued, "Without him, we would be lost." The officer nodded slowly. "Very well," he said. "You may come with us." Cole felt relief wash over him, but the hardest part was yet to come. The peacekeepers wanted to take Rayla and Lena back to the refugee camp. They told Cole he could not come with them. Rayla stepped forward. "No," she said clearly. "He stays." The officer looked surprised. "Why?" Rayla smiled gently. "He is family." Cole watched as the peacekeepers debated. Some did not want a human involved. But Rayla's words and the baby's trust in Cole convinced them. Finally, the officer agreed. You may join us. Together, the small group boarded the ship. Inside, Cole saw the refugee camp through the windows. It was crowded but full of life. Rayla held Lena close and looked at Cole. We begin again, she said softly. Cole smiled and nodded. He knew their journey was far from over, but with trust and hope, they would face the future together. The refugee camp was alive with many voices, different faces, and the constant hum of machines repairing broken homes. Cole stepped carefully beside Rayla and little Lena as they walked through the busy camp. It was crowded and noisy, but safe. For the first time in weeks, Rayla felt a small hope grow inside her. The camp was made for survivors like them, people and aliens who lost everything, but not everyone here was happy to see a human walk among them. Some looked at Cole with suspicion. Others whispered as he passed. Cole noticed. He had heard stories about how some alien groups didn't trust humans, but he did not let it bother him. His only goal was to help Rayla and Lena find a new home. The camp leader, a tall alien woman with silver hair and bright eyes, approached them. She studied Cole carefully. You are the human who saved Rayla and the child? She asked, her voice calm but strong. Yes, Cole replied simply. I helped them. The leader nodded. Your actions have changed how some here see humans, but it will take time for trust. Rayla stepped forward, holding Lena close. Cole is family, she said firmly. Without him, we would be lost. The leader looked at the baby, who smiled up at Cole. Something softened in her eyes. You may stay, she said. But this camp is no place for weakness. We all must work to survive. Cole understood. He was ready. Over the next days, Cole worked hard. He helped fix power lines, repaired broken doors, and cleared debris. Slowly, the people in the camp began to see his value. Rayla found work helping care for other children, and Lena grew stronger every day. One afternoon, Cole and Rayla sat beneath a large tree near the center of the camp. Lena played nearby with other children. Rayla looked at Cole and smiled. You did more than save us. You gave us hope. Cole smiled back. We help each other. But life in the camp was not easy. Food was scarce, and dangers still lurked nearby. Some pirates still roamed the outer lands looking for easy targets. One day, while Cole was repairing a communications tower, the camp alarm sounded. Everyone rushed to prepare. Pirates had been spotted on the camp's edge. Cole joined the defenders. He helped set up barriers and prepare the people to protect their new home. Rayla watched from the shelter with Lena in her arms, praying for safety. The attack was fierce but short. The camp's defenders, many skilled fighters, pushed the pirates back. Cole fought alongside the others, his human strength and quick thinking saving many lives. After the battle, the camp leader praised Cole. You are no longer just a helper. You are a protector. Rayla's eyes filled with pride. She knew Cole had earned his place here. That night, under the stars, Cole sat beside Rayla and Lena. The baby slept peacefully, tired from the day's excitement. Rayla reached for Cole's hand. Will you stay with us? Cole looked at the small family they had become. Yes, he said. This is home now. They sat quietly, the future uncertain but hopeful. Cole knew that together they could face whatever challenges came next. The sun rose slowly over the refugee camp, painting the sky with soft colors of pink and orange. Cole stood outside his small shelter, watching as the camp came alive with activity. People were fixing buildings, sharing food, and talking quietly. It was not a perfect place, but it was safe, and it was home. Rayla stepped out with Lena in her arms. The baby cooed softly, reaching out her tiny hand to touch the morning light. Rayla smiled, feeling hope for the first time since the pirate attack. Cole walked over and knelt beside them. Lena is strong, he said gently. She will grow healthy. Rayla looked at him with deep gratitude. Because of you. Cole shook his head. Because of us. We protect each other. Days passed and the small family grew closer. Cole and Rayla worked side by side, helping the camp rebuild and grow stronger. Cole taught the people how to repair machines and grow food faster using simple methods. Rayla helped care for the children and shared stories of her people's culture. Lena laughed for the first time one afternoon. The sound was pure and bright, and it warmed the hearts of everyone nearby. Cole held Rayla's hand as they watched the baby play. "This is a new beginning," he said softly. One evening, as the stars filled the sky, Rayla sat beside Cole by a small fire. The night was quiet, and the air was cool. She looked at him and said, "You didn't just feed us when we had nothing. You gave us hope. You gave us family." Cole smiled, touched by her words. "I never wanted to be a hero. I just wanted to help." "But you are more than that," Rayla said. "You are part of our future." Cole looked up at the stars. The journey had been hard, full of danger and fear, but it had brought them here, together. In the days that followed, more ships arrived with supplies and help. The camp began to grow into a small town. New families settled, and the people started to believe in a better life. Cole, Rayla, and Lena were at the center of this change. Their story spread, inspiring others to trust and help one another, no matter where they came from. One afternoon, as Cole fixed a broken water system, a young boy ran up to him. "Are you really a human?" the boy asked with wide eyes. "Yes," Cole said with a laugh, "and proud of it." The boy smiled and ran off to tell his friends. Cole felt proud too, proud that humans could be seen as friends and protectors. That night, Cole and Rayla sat together under the stars again. Lena slept peacefully between them. Rayla rested her head on Cole's shoulder. "Thank you for staying." Cole kissed her forehead gently. "Thank you for trusting me." They sat in silence, watching the stars blink above them. A new chapter had begun, not just for them, but for everyone who had suffered and survived. And no matter what came next, they would face it as a family.